the pristine pitch is in no danger of becoming a mud bath, playing host to a titanic tussle between two PWR sides keen to improve their opening season tallies of 1-1, lost one. It's Trailfinders women against Bristol Bears, two of the league's proud entertainers. Well, hello, very good afternoon to you. Speaking of proud entertainers, someone who's come out bedecked in her usual purple, 1990. Well, lovely to get your thoughts initially, Giselle. Before we get too further into it then, we were lucky to have a bit of time with one of Trailfinders' most prized North American imports, albeit slightly imported from Devon and the Exeter Chiefs, because earlier I spoke to USA and Trailfinders captain Kate Zachary. Well, Kate, thanks for joining us. How is the melting pot of cultures that you have here at Trailfinders?
It's the definition of London, isn't it? Just everybody comes here for a little bit of a little slice of London, all the entertainment we have. So we've had quite a few changes over the course of all 3 seasons now. So we're still finding our way, getting our feet underneath us, but what you've seen last week is that continuity came together. So now it's just making sure that wasn't just a one-off. The one-off was really that Exeter result, and now we just keep building from here for the rest of the season.
Go well, we look forward to it.
Thank you.
Well, Kate Zachary there, top player, top captain, and, well, great human as well. Now, we are delighted to be joined by 2 women who are doing their best to dilute.
She's had a fair bit of time now where she is working it out, so I would say watch this space and we'll find out what Abby is going to be up to.
Thank you very much for that key update. All right, we are getting ever closer to kickoff ahead of this one. Cannot wait.
Absolutely.
Fearless, fast, powerful. We are Trailfinders women.
It's such a great feeling to play at Trailfinders. We've got such a strong following out in West Ealing. That's our home turf.
We're going to be fast and furious. We're going to bring the tries, and we're so excited to start.
We've got big names coming in. We've got a lot of internationals to go up.
We're such a tight-knit group. Everyone just expresses themselves.
Meg Jones is going to bring magic. Magic Meg. Trailfinders, we're going to bring energy, passion, and a lot more flair.
watch this. I'm about to make you trip, make you glitch, camera click, watch this, watch this. I put it like gold, check out the view. Out with the old, and in with the new. I'm in my new era. I'm better in my new era. I'm better in my new era.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to West London, to Vallis Way and Trailfinders Sports Club. Storm Claudia may have caused a bit of disruption across the country, but no concerns here as the pristine pitch is in no danger of becoming a mud bath, playing host to a titanic tussle between two PWR sides keen to improve their opening season tallies of 1-1, lost one. It's Trailfinders women against Bristol Bears, two of the league's proud entertainers. Well, hello, very good afternoon to you. Speaking of proud entertainers, someone who's come out bedecked in her usual purple, 1994 World Cup winner and former Trailfinders coach, Giselle May. Giselle, how are you?
I'm very well, thank you. Great to be here and really looking forward to this.
Yeah, me too. It's going to be a good one here. There was just 1 point between them last year.
Unbelievably exciting game then, and I think we're in for that this time as well, without question. The two teams are phenomenal. They love to run the ball, and I think this is going to be a fantastic game of rugby.
Yeah, now we last heard you on BBC channels during that Rugby World Cup. Are we still allowed to talk about it? How was it for you?
Oh, what an occasion. Just the whole thing was just so super special. And I think when you talk to players, all of them realise that is going to be a key World Cup in the history of. Going forward, going backwards, it just was sensational.
Yeah, weren't tempted to pull the boots on?
No, I actually really enjoyed my place talking about it, being there, watching it, applauding it, and just being on some games I was just a fan, some games obviously I was commentating, but just totally absorbed in the whole thing from whichever, all the teams. And I thought one of the very special things was that it didn't have to be the Red Roses that were playing to bring the crowds out. Every team was incredibly well supported everywhere, and that's what made it really super special.
Wasn't it amazing? Anyway, we should turn our attention to today. Let's talk about Trailfinders first of all. Racked with international stars. Today, English, Irish, Welsh, Scottish players, New Zealand, Canada, USA, Belgium, Spain. I mean, it's a lot. It's also an interesting one to try and sort of get everybody aligned, isn't it? They got 10 tries against Sale last week. In the first game here, I don't think Rachel Malcolm will mind me sharing that when I came and saw her after the game, she sort of said, did that look like 23 people who've only just met? So I imagine last week's game will have helped that somewhat.
Yeah, I think connection in rugby, everybody talks about it. It is a huge thing. Understanding each other, knowing what the player either side of you is going to do, how they like to play. Do they step more naturally off their left foot, right foot? You know, all of that stuff. And also when you bring that many nations together, the cultural thing, what is the thing, you know? And I think they're still very much going to be finding that out. They are working very hard at it. You have leaders across this team all over the place. Kate Zachary, captain of the USA, Rachel Malcolm, captain of Scotland. You've got Meg Jones in the middle of it all, who's vice captain of England. I mean, there's just leaders everywhere. Chris Blanco, Spanish, you know, they're just leaders everywhere. So that is also a dynamic of who leads in what spaces and who speaks and who doesn't. And, you know, there's a lot of things going on. But against Sale, the brand of rugby they played, they simplified it, I think, considerably in attack, which was, I think, necessary. I think it did look like it was too complicated when they played the first game. Simplified it in the second game, and the speed of ball that they did, it was reminiscent a bit of Canada, and there's obviously a lot of Canadian internationals in there, but they played some fabulous rugby, and those 10 tries, I mean, was it 18 clean line breaks they made? That's phenomenal. Yeah, they'll be absolutely phenomenal.
Hoping they can replicate that this afternoon for all of our entertainment, frankly. And as for Bristol Bears, not as much off-season recruitment. Probably the biggest change being Scott Lawson, the change of head coach. They had 65% of possession against Saracens at Shaftesbury Park last week. They were only able to get 2 tries. I think it was they beat 26 defenders. So some of it's working, some of it not quite.
I think with Bristol, they're jouet, and in the past, they play from absolutely everywhere and very rarely kick the ball. And PWR sides know that now. And so that is worked out. And what they do, for 6 phases against Saracens, they went really well, but out of their 22, up to the 10 metre, and then they got burgled and the outside things as the jacklers came in to steal the ball. Yeah. So they put some good rugby together, but in completely the wrong places. And I think Amber's already alluded to it, they need to be playing in the right places on the pitch. And if they do that, Renika Bonner, Millie David, Jenny Hesketh, Emma Orr can all make use of that ball in the right places on the field.
Yeah, those back three players are certainly going to want to have their say on this game this afternoon, aren't they?
Oh, in the first game against Leicester, Millie David and Renika Bonner were quite exceptional. Very exciting that they're two young wingers, both English. Very, very exciting, and give them half a yard of space and you'll see some pretty special stuff, but it has to be in the right places on the field.
It does. All right, well, lovely to get your thoughts initially, Giselle. Before we get too further into it then, we were lucky to have a bit of time. We won a Trailfinders, well, most prized North American imports, albeit slightly imported from Devon and the Exeter Chiefs, because earlier I spoke to USA and Trailfinders captain Kate Zachary. Well, Kate, thanks for joining us. How is the melting pot of cultures that you have here at Trailfinders?
It's the definition of London, isn't it? Just everybody comes here for a little bit of a little slice of London, all the entertainment we have. But it's been really good. It's been an exciting few weeks as everyone's come back in drips and drabs post-World Cup. What you've seen in the last couple of games as well is that continuity coming together. But also just good to get to know people from other countries and catch up. People that I've seen on the field for multiple games over the course of the last few years, but now get to know them more than just as opposition, but now more as like friends and teammates, which is cool.
Yeah, nice. And teammates and also leaders. There's plenty in this group, aren't there? Scotland captain Rachel Malcolm, Meg Jones is in that Red Roses leadership group, couple of World Cup winning Black Ferns. I mean, how does that blend kind of work when different people might want to put different ideas forward?
Yeah, it's been good so far. Like we've had some of our game drivers meetings the last few weeks, and it's good to hear different opinions. Obviously, you've got the coaching direction, how they want us to play, the look and feel, but how that gets delivered throughout the field has actually been really good. You had someone like Rachel stepping up, being a bit of a defensive leader. As you know, you'll from her past, like she's just such a she just gets all over the park, doesn't she? She gets on the ball. She's good talking to referees. So it's good even for me to continue to like learn and perfect how I lead from people like that. You've got Meg as well with someone like Claire Gallagher kind of directing our attack. They're both exciting players, how they play structured and unstructured. And it's good for them to take what the coaches feed in, but put her own flair on it, which is what even last week you would have seen against Sale.
Yeah, and this raft of international players, these signings that have come in, a lot of them have mentioned the culture around the club being a real thing that appealed to them. You've been here for a couple of years, probably part of setting that culture. How would you describe it?
Yeah, I think it's trying to generate a place where everyone can be them different selves. That's the individuality of it, and like you talked about earlier, the melting pot piece. Everyone is from a different place, different home. So trying to make space to off pitch, learn about people's culture. Like obviously in a few weeks we'll celebrate Thanksgiving, so we'll have a bunch of people to our house and have a turkey and food and more to celebrate like the togetherness. We had Canadian Thanksgiving not long ago and other holidays throughout the year. So it's nice to kind of celebrate those with people, share our culture, learn from others. Because I think it's those off-field connections are what build the on-field results. We've done a really good job of trying to capture that in the last 2 years.
What does a commentator have to do to get an invite to Thanksgiving?
Depends what dish you're going to bring.
Oh, okay. Cranberry sauce?
You got to do better than that. Maybe,
yeah, I do, yeah.
Maybe this year I'll let you bring the pumpkin pie.
Okay, all right. Well, that's, I've got to step
No
up
pressure.
into someone else's
It's the
culture
centerpiece of the
there.
meal.
All right, fine. Barney Madison's into his second year as head coach, assisted by Steve Shingler, of course. We're going to speak to Kim Oliver shortly. A word on Kim, her influence here.
Yeah, look, obviously Kim's a familiar face in the English setup. She's featured herself as a player. She's coached around the Prem in its previous years. And what she brings to us is just a different perspective as well. Like Barney Shing's coming from there, playing on the professional men's side of rugby. Obviously Kim's background and things like that. It's nice to see how they mesh together, difference of opinions, but also that's what allows them to, kind of form what you see on the field. And it allows her to, on Monday, she runs some of our skill sessions. She also does a lot of our off-field kind of player mentorship. So whether that's also just being an ear for the players, someone that has gone through what they've gone through, she can listen to them from the coaching perspective, feed that back if they don't want to also come through leadership group. But as well as that, like just mentoring some of the younger players and trying to build up our depth.
Finally to today then, two teams who've got one win, one loss, had your bye week. It was a tight old game last year. How do you see it going?
Yeah, it's going to be a physical one. Bristol got it over on us last year a bit, which was tough. Obviously the one here at home though was a little bit different story, but I think it'll be a good day. You'll see a big fight at set piece time. I mean, that is a staple of, I think, Bristol's game. They've similarly had some new faces come in, as well as though, like most teams, they've had a lot of continuity as well. So not too many changes overall, whereas I think what you've seen with us, we've had quite a few changes over the course of all 3 seasons now. So we're still finding our way, getting our feet underneath us, but what you've seen last week is that continuity came together. So now it's just making sure that wasn't just a one-off. The one-off was really that Exeter result, and now we just keep building from here for the rest of the season.
Go well. We look forward to it.
Thank you.
Well, Kate Zachary there, top player, top captain, and, well, great human as well. Now, we are delighted to be joined by two women who are doing their best to dilute the usually rather heavy, historically male-dominated coaching space. We have from our club here, Trailfinders, Kim Oliver, a double World Cup player, of course, and then a Rugby World Cup winner in Amber Reid. Thank you both for joining myself and Giselle. Kim, first of all, I'll come to you. How would you assess the Trailfinders season so far?
I think a bit frustrating. Our first game, our attack definitely didn't function as well as we'd have liked it to. And then last week it seemed to click. So it's all set on today, I guess.
Yeah. 10 tries has got to paper over a few cracks.
Yeah, definitely. But it's a shame we couldn't put out the same performance against Exeter the week before.
And Amber, what is it like now being on the other side of the professional fence on a permanent basis?
Yeah, it's a bit different. I've been roped into training a couple of times, so boots are back on, but just trying to distance myself and yeah, it's definitely a challenge. I know what I want to see in my head and having to use my words and explain it and get the girls to do that. But yeah, it's a good challenge. I've got a background in PE teaching, so yeah, rolling into coaching, just trying to use those skills, but I'm really enjoying it so far.
And you know each other a little, don't you? I mean, is the Bristol DNA still similar from your time there, Kim? What's your knowledge of this one and what's going on over there?
I would say that Rido probably is the DNA of Bristol. I think that in time we'll see the impact that she has on the team, on the players individually and collectively. So it's only going to be a positive for the club.
And how do you both feel in terms of that nature of being, women's coaches in the PWR? We want to see more of it, and hopefully you're both in great positions to continue taking these careers forwards.
You go first.
Yeah, there's definitely that responsibility. I think we probably both felt that as players, like growing up where we were trying to prove ourselves and the standards that we were upholding on the pitch. And now that's the same kind of, we're trying to prove ourselves in this coaching space, and like you said, a very male-dominated environment. But it's one that I'm sure, like knowing Kim very well, we'll both step up to the challenge. But yeah, it's definitely a massive learning curve. Kim's obviously a couple of years ahead in terms of her coaching career than I am, and had the pleasure of being coached by her as well, and learnt a lot. So yeah, from that perspective, just trying to channel the good things that I've seen from the coaches I've had into me as a coach. I learn along the way.
And with that, how are you going to change, or what little things have you looked at from the Saracens' performance ready to go against Trailfinders today?
Yeah, our bit of game management and our error count, trying to play in the right areas of the pitch, the old rugby cliche, so I don't think it'll be much surprise to anyone. But yeah, just taking our opportunities when it's on. Nick's already spoken about our Bears DNA. We like to play, but it's being pragmatic at times and just making sure that we play in the right areas. We probably didn't do that against Saris last week and gave them a few too many opportunities close to our try line. Two
teams that like to play, right, Kim?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I'd probably say, talking about the game, same sort of things as Amber. Game management, discipline's been one for us, and yeah, just making sure we play in the right areas of the pitch, give us the opportunities.
There we go. All right. Well, listen. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll let you both head off, but good luck this afternoon.
Thank you very much. Best of luck.
Good. So while you two head off, Giselle, just. There's a question that's been coming up a fair bit over the first few weeks of the season, because there's a certain World Cup winning Red Rose who was unattached during that tournament, used to play a rugby here, you know very well, and everyone's asking where Abby Dow is going to pop up. Are we allowed to ask? What do you know as someone that knows Abby quite well?
Well, as we all know, Abby Dow is not attached to any club at all at the moment. Her personality is the type of person that when she goes into something, she's all in. Yeah. Absolutely 100%. And Abby, although absolutely loves her rugby, she also has a lot of other interests, not just her crochet, I might add. But she did gain a first degree from the Imperial College London in engineering. Yeah. And that is a massive fascination for Abby as well. And because if she's going to do something, it's all in. She's taking her time at the moment to look at what's going on and work out how she can maybe balance things or what it is that she wants to put that very intelligent brain that she has into action. So I do think we'll find out very soon. I think that she's had a fair bit of time now where she is working it out. So I would say watch this space and we'll find out what Abby is going to be up to.
Thank you very much for that key update. All right, we are getting ever closer to kick-off ahead of this one. Cannot wait.
Absolutely.
Fearless, fast, powerful. We are Trailfinders women.
It's such a great feeling to play at Trailfinders. We've got such a strong following out in West Ealing. That's our home turf.
We're going to be fast and furious. We're going to bring the tries, and we're so excited to start.
We've got big names coming in, we've got a lot of internationals to go up.
We're such a tight-knit group. Everyone just expresses themselves.
Meg Jones is going to bring magic, Magic Meg. Trailfinders, we're going to bring energy, passion, and a lot more flair.
Well, good afternoon if you have just joined us. PWR round 4, and we've shimmied up to commentary here at Trailfinders, sitting 8th in the league table, just one place below Bristol Bears in 7th. Barney Madison seeking to change nothing after their 10-try haul at the Mawson Stadium last week in Salford. An all-international pack with the freshest faces in Blackfern's Georgia Ponsonby and Alana Ball, and Scottish captain Rachel Malcolm also making just her 3rd appearance since moving to West London. Alongside her in the back row, Captain Zachary and World Cup winning Red Rose Abby Burton. Grace White, the only member of the back line without international honours, as Amori and Gallagher get set to play with that box of tricks that includes Francesca McGee, Meg Jones and last week's player of the match, Julia Schell. The Trailfinders bench then sees Christina Blanco coming in as a late change, with Niamh Swales having to withdraw this morning. Rosie Inman, a former Bristolian try scorer last week. And for Bristol Bears, a similar minimal amount of tinkering sees head coach Scott Lawson make just the one starting change, with Holly Cunningham replacing the injured Abby Ward. The absence of the skipper means Sarah Byrne takes a co-captaincy role in a pack that includes dynamism and skill through Pam, Balogun, Herring and Scotland's Evie Gallagher. Ciara Bevan takes the other co-captain role next to Lucy Skews at fly half, while the Bears' pocket rockets of David and Bonner will look to sprinkle the finish from whatever space Lovibond and Orr can conjure. The Bristol bench sees Nicola Beat and Tilly Ryle come in, with Olympian Jasmine Joyce keen to inflict her dancing feet on a tiring Trailfinders later on. And we are just about ready to go. Our referee for this one is Benjamin Wood. Assistants Michael Maple and Daryl Chapman. And it's going to be Trailfinders to get us started. A win and a loss then for each of these sides at the start of this season. Last time we were here, round 1 of the season, the opening Saturday, Trailfinders really couldn't quite find that cohesion, integration. Those have all been the sorts of words around these parts. But first job is going to be for Bristol to try and get out of their 22, but that was a fair amount of pressure immediately on Ciara Bevan, and she looks plaintively at referee Benjamin Wood. He's happy enough, the ball was lifted, she was fair game.
And there we have a repetition of what we saw at Saracens. So we're moving the ball, they've collected it at the exit, no problems there, and then they've moved into the centre of the field, and then Trailfinders, knowing that that's what's going to happen, have put 3 or 4 into that breakdown straight away to put pressure on it, and pressure has resulted in a turnover and one of the best attacking platforms you can get, a centre field scrum.
As always, you can big up a centre field scrum and it always ends up in a penalty. That's what happens. It's commentator rule.
When there's wings on the field like we have out here and Meg Jones at centre, then I'd like to think that they're going to use it.
Short side they go. If there is one from such a centre field possession, but already the turnover, already getting in and straight over the ball.
1-1 on the Jackal front, 1-1 on the turnovers. So again, this gives Bristol Bears the chance to get rid of it, and hopefully we'll have looked at that and said, right, we can't be playing moving the ball in the middle of the field, and learn from that. First line out without Abby Ward. Will be interesting to see how Bristol run this.
Balogun takes it well from the top, scoops it back for Bevan, and they're just going to call on Sarah Byrne to truck them out of the 22. Who better to sign up to that responsibility? Grace White into Millie David. Speedsters at each other. Then it's Borland. Blackfern starting her 3rd game in succession, having arrived at the club. Maybe Burton thought she might just be through. Last minute tackle, just making it. Holly Cunningham just on the wrong side, but they play it away. Meg Jones put on her backside. PWR known for its ball in playtime. We're being treated to it already in the first couple of minutes of this one.
Offside penalty there coming in from the lines judge. Great tackle though on that, and the Bristol Bears first defensive step. Apparently they had a fabulous defensive session on Tuesday. Meg trying to do Meg Jones there by going really quick, but they had a great defensive session on Tuesday, and you can see the hits they were putting in there were phenomenal.
Trailfinders from Burton, flicked away from Zachary. Jones in midfield. They're queuing up to come round that corner, one after the other, and trying to make it work as Francesca McGee then is the next one. Amori. A fair amount of pressure on Claire Gallagher. Referee happy enough that the ball went backwards. Outside the 22 they go. Grace Moore will jump in and help secure possession. Bustling Olivia Leatherman. Moore again. Frees the arms, gets the offload away. Rachel Malcolm's found herself as the last player out on that left-hand side for Trailfinders. Well, we've seen a yellow card brandished there for Simi Pam. I wonder if it was just being a little too upright in this tackle. And Rachel Malcolm, I think, protesting as the collision was made. So immediately Bristol Bears finding themselves down to 14. Good refereeing.
And that's huge at this stage of the game, where they were just testing them out to go down to 14, and a carrier like Simi Pam going off the field is very... It will cause them a lot of problems, and already we'll have to sort this from this line out.
Trailfinders had plenty of ball and opportunities in that round one match, but they just couldn't find their way over the line as often as Exeter Chiefs, who were much better at their conversion and opportunities in the 22. But this is another spell. This is another chance to get going. Bristol Bears trying to stand up to the challenge once more. They've got to get lower if they're going to stay on the right side of the referee. Maya Montiel. Jones went for a stuttering run through a gap. Zachary once more. Borland on the outside. He's going to take it now. Can they get the clear out just in time? Amori again. Jones. And a slight out to in, but once again, Megan Jones well tracked. There's another penalty coming though for the Bears, and it is a number that's racked up pretty quickly. Third or fourth penalty already. Short side, Malcolm is dumped back from where she came. Amori has a little look out. Gallagher is there. Oh, and there's nobody where they were expecting the support to be.
So again, amazing defensive sets, but if you continually give away penalties, you're just putting pressure back on yourselves and giving Trailfinders the opportunity to go again. A little bit frenetic from Trailfinders. They're looking to just shift the ball all the time instead of perhaps setting a platform and getting some width. There was a beautiful pass from Ella Amory across to Olivia Leatherman that cut out about 5 defenders from Bristol, which gave them that impact. And if they can just take half a second off some of the pace instead of throwing out, they may get some progress from this.
Hold up! Not too much, Evie. Hold up! Hold up! Round 9.
Short side, trying to break off that maul, trying to sense that there might have been weakness in that corner. And they go the same way again. Millie David, part of those looking to hold them up. This area of the field where players might almost invite them over to hold them up deliberately. Referee has a look at that one, not that time. Trailfinders are going to get first blood here. Again, stopped short. Pick and go, was that the line? Referee says yes. Rachel Malcolm comes up. She's got them on the board.
So they've had the ball pretty much all their own way so far, Trailfinders, in this opening exchanges. Bristol, again, great defence, getting underneath the ball. You can hear Scott Lawson shouting, under the ball, all the way through, and they've done incredibly well. But just there, I'm not sure whether that was actually down on the line. However, it's been given, so it was on the line, and Meg Jones has the chance here to turn 5-7.
Jones, not one we see kicking from the tee a whole lot. Claire Gallagher in the side. Of course, Emma Taylor, who sometimes step up from the tee. Another one of those Canadian kicking second rows. You might have heard about one of those who might be a World Player of the Year, of course, in Sophie de Goody, but that one goes off to the right.
Meg, obviously, it's something she's trying to add to her game because she was the goal kicker against Sale. But this kick-off now is really important for the Bears. They need to put the pressure on, and they need to cut out the defensive penalties that they've been putting in, because it's just given Trailfinders free ball to get across that line.
It was at least 3 or 4, wasn't it, Giselle?
Lovely, here we go. Lovely, here we go.
Averaging over 10 penalties a game, Bristol Bears. Certainly already up to a few of those. 13 roughly on the Trailfinders side. In fact, they conceded 12 penalties, yet scored 10 tries last weekend, which is an interesting combination when you would imagine you'd be a little more squeaky clean when you've got that much possession going forwards.
Yeah, referees do usually tend to favour the attack.
Lost over the top. Balogun was doing everything she could. Bristol Bears defending with 14 with Simi Pam on the bench. Amory has a look. Oh, it's a really good take above the head from Rachel Malcolm. Not the easiest one. Burton flicks it back. Gallagher joining the line. It's just starting to close down on Caris Cox. She didn't have a lot of room, but chip downfield. Bonnet. Oh, well tracked by Meg Jones. Referee is there. He agrees the turnover will go the way of the Trailfinders, and that is a kick, and that is pressure.
The little sorceress that is Meg Jones. She sees things just before everybody else. The speed she comes in there to fly hack that on, and then she's lining Renika Bonner up and then wallop straight in. She then blocks the clear by standing up, because it's not a ruck at that time because there's no other players there. So she comes round to block the clearer coming in, and that's where the turnover comes from, and the penalty again to Trailfinders.
Giselle Mather, 1994 Rugby World Cup winner, who is with us on commentary. Former coach of this parish. And Trailfinders now, well, they're building towards a second here. Oh, goodness. That was unstoppable. Georgia Ponsonby. Well, she's got a 100% scoring rate in PWR games so far. 3 games, scoring in every single one of them.
Yep, fantastic work. I have to say that from my perspective, whenever there is a driving maul try, I don't necessarily see just from the hooker. Everybody's done their jobs incredibly well there. And again, that penalty that Meg Jones won, they've converted into scores, and this is the perfect start for Trailfinders to be 2 tries up. Not really. The only time they've been in their half was to receive the kick-off. The line-out went wrong from Bristol, and they're just not settled at all. One would say, perhaps, cliche-wise, they're still on the bus.
Conversion, that one from Jones, much better. Trailfinders leading by 10 points to 0. $12 up now.
The leaders now from Bristol need to step up, take control of this and reset.
It's an interesting thing when you've been a club that's, you know, been hovering around that top 4, playing in semi-finals, getting yourself to finals as Bristol Bears have been. A new season is a reset in so many ways when you're Playing a club like Trailfinders, who many are tipping for a top 4 finish this season, well, someone's not going to make it. In these sorts of games, 12-0 down inside 12 minutes, can just start to jangle those nerves, can't they? Are we the team that's still capable of getting up there? Or are we up against our match today? Trailfinders won this encounter 39 points to 38 last season, but that's another key turnover. It's another penalty. Grace Moore.
So Jenny Hesketh there, beautiful carry, but then the ball press just came onto the floor. In goes Grace Jones. She tackled her, released her, and then straight in over it. Again, we've got fumbles going on there. Bristol really need to take a big deep breath in and reset.
Tell us about ball press.
So the important thing when you're tackled, the moment that you know that the carry is technically over, you have to work incredibly hard on the ground or on the way to the ground to start turning, to present the ball back to your own team, away from all those poachers and jackalers that
prying
want
eyes and
exactly
hands.
that are trying to come in after the ball. And if you just hit the floor and you don't present that ball back properly, and the clearer doesn't come in quickly enough, that was what just happened. And she ran beautifully there. She carried really hard, but then as she went to ground, the detail in what she needed to do was missing. And Grace Moore there, her detail was spot on by releasing the player, because if you tackle them and go straight in on the ball, that's not allowed either. She released her, you saw her arms come clear, and then straight in over the ball, which was why they've got that penalty. I don't think Bristol have been over one phase yet. They just need to get possession of this ball.
It's with Kira Bevan, co-captain alongside Byrne today. Frustrating afternoon in Shaftesbury Park last week. She's looking for the penalty arm to go up. Eventually she gets it, but high risk. Ball was there to be played, even though she was hoping the penalty might come.
And that's really great work from Bristol, with Simi Pam off of the field as well, with replacement props and what have you. Sarah Byrne obviously driving that forward, and they had to really work hard for it because the referee wasn't going to give it straight off. Kira Bevan, good scrum half, saying that's what she wanted, and then that penalty there has moved them all the way down for the first time into Trailfinders 22.
Yeah, worth noting Maisie Davis onto the field, or in fact now able to leave the field after the change has been made, with Pam having completed her 10 minutes. She didn't get off the bench last week against Saracens, Maisie Davis, with Simi Pam having to go the full 80. Joined last season from Gwalia Lightning. Ten minutes complete. Bristol back up to their full complement. Into midfield it comes. Byrne dummies the offload. Karis Cox in there with the tackle. Bit of judo throwing going in around the breakdown as well. Now a chance for Hesketh to try and get going. Competition at ruck time is fierce, whether it's the wingers or whether it's the forwards. Trailfinders doing their best to try and slow things down, but there was not enough advantage coming.
And with two teams that we have in front of us here with such fabulous backs and outside backs, really want to see these penalties disappearing, because it absolutely chokes continuity as soon as the players are giving away penalties all over the place. Both sides will be looking for that continuity to manipulate defences so they can then get around them or through them. And at the moment, it's pretty much phase 1, 2, 3, because the discipline side of things isn't good enough.
In from Phillips, Balogun really being relied on at line-out time without Abby Ward today. Really trying to drive that forwards, but they're just driving into their own players without much give in that Trailfinders pack. Emma Orr looking to trying to find a way through. It's there with Skews. Not quite the disorganised backline that Skews would have liked to play with at that point. Bevan goes digging for it. Evie Gallagher is just outside. Simi Pam, who does her best to try and get around the shoulder of Claire Gallagher. Byrne again. Byrne through Malcolm, who clings on for dear life. looking to burst the tackle. Emma also strong, so used to those gliding lines, but brute force needed that time. Bristol Bears knocking on the door here, the closest they have come all game. Dynamic busts at close quarters. Into the hands of Herring. Another direct line. Who else but Sarah Byrne? Herring pulls out. Interesting little short ball from Bevan there when Herring was more flat-footed and much closer as Pan goes for the line. Oh, has Simi Pan got through and scored that? Yes, she has. Absolute determination. Perhaps righting the wrong of the yellow card she conceded earlier, straight back to get her team into this game. And she needed that. The team needed that.
Absolutely, and there you see Bristol putting together phases, and once they've got control of that ball, they've just shown what they're capable of, and now we've got a game on our hands, which is great. As I said, that the leaders now have to step up. Sarah Byrne is the captain there, massively involved in that throughout, punching holes, I think 3 times. She was a major carrier. Simi Pam, as you say, coming back on to correct what the difficulty she's put her team in. She's now produced the score, which is really, really important. The shape that Bristol are running a little bit tight, so allowing Trailfinders to double hit, and they need to try and put just a little bit more width on the shape that they've got between the pods in order to stretch Trailfinders' defence. But we now do have a game on our hands.
Seven points on the board then for the visitors. Herring with the run from the restart. Had a really good game last week, Jenny Herring. And that's Simi Pam. Trimmed down, 6 or 7 kilos lighter than she was at this time last year. Says that it suits her much better. I think we're beginning to see that. More like the Simi Pam of old. Line-breaking, busting tackles. Delaney Burns. Skews, big responsibility on the hands and the boot of Lucy Skews this season in place of one Holly Aitchison. Hesketh almost caught in 2 minds there. Bevan in, looking to try and set Cunningham free. Holly Cunningham cruelly missing, of course, that Rugby World Cup after the hamstring injury. Less than a minute into that match in France during the Guinness Women's Six Nations. But back into things now. Borland just flicked it back. New Zealander to Canadian in Gallagher. Zachary wants it outside of Burton, but it's going to be the missed pass past the captain, and then Jones, and looks to send it on. Oh, and we're seeing the feet then from the Scotswoman McGee. Burton, another short ball. There does seem to be a little bit more continuity from this Trailfinders side. Again, it's the late release out the back. They look for the quick hands to find Malcolm, who was lurking on an edge, and now it's Meg Jones who's reading the script and popping up where she needs to. Grace White takes it to ground. Played away from Amory. Gallagher just had to stoop low to get it, and that's been coughed up in the tackle. Burns was there to tidy it up, and Kira Bevan opting to kick it away from an area of the field you don't always see Bristol Bears put boot to ball. But perhaps things are changing a little under Scott Lawson. It's a real dribbler of a ball, and a difficult one for Grace Moore to do much of, and Delaney Burns brings it away, then one out the back of the hand, and then Hesketh will kick away the knock-on advantage. And is that going to sit up? It's not gone into touch, and Grace White's got some work to do here against Millie David. Gets the fend out. Herring wants to get in over the ball, isn't quite going to get there. Jones will play it. Borland, where's she off to? Breathless stuff here at Trailfinders Sports Ground. Rachel Malcolm into Herring. Skews thought she had the chance to go around and have a bite at that, but this is going to be Amory to clear. Kira Bevan's got herself back in position. Knows the game superbly, Kira Bevan, and read exactly where that one was likely to go. Hesketh into another slightly upright challenge. Seen a few of them this afternoon so far. Delaney Burns. Skew's calling for it. Pam on the outside. It's going to go past all of them and get into the hands of Ella Lovibond, who's on an outside arc. Needed someone to just cut across. Giselle Mather gesticulating next to me that was the line that was needed. It came a little too late.
This is lung-busting stuff. This is ball in play time of about 3.5, 4 minutes, which is what we did hope for from these sides. But this is lung-busting. When you're training late on and you do that extra set that's got to be longer, this is why.
Somebody kick it out, they'll no doubt be thinking, but it's Maya Montiel who takes it on. Jones. Oh, that's a lovely offload straight back inside from Caris Cox. Got a couple of tries last week, Cox.
And everybody breathe.
There we go.
Everyone, look at them, trying to find their lungs, trying to find... It was a phenomenal set from both sides, and every transition was used rather than having to stop and reset. Every transition was used. We had balls kicked ahead. Grace White did very, very well to pick up that ball when Millie David was coming on to her, and then we get the exits. Everything happening there, but you can see now the players are desperately trying to find the oxygen in this place.
And they've got to have the clarity of mind now to get on with the line out. Trailfinders coming into this, the worst line-out success in the league, just 71% over the couple of games that they've played. Burton's the dummy. Borland at the tail. Oh, but not straight is the call. And that will just be another one that continues to go against those stats.
Yeah, and as you say, after the lung-busting thing, perhaps not thinking quite so straight, still not quite there. So Georgia Ponsonby there, getting that ball thrown in. And now it's Bristol Bears' opportunity, and it's a left-hand side. You've got a nice wide blind side there, but doesn't look like they're going to use it. Grace White trying to decide where she should be standing at this moment in time to cover if they do come down this way.
Solid scrum last week from Bristol.
Yeah, opportunity now to see what goes on the training fields down in Shaftesbury Park as they're training.
In from Bevan. Good march on this from Bristol Bears. That's the scrum they relied upon so heavily last week. Okay, that looks to spoil any possession that Evie Gallagher was going to get, but it is the penalty. And Bristol Bears just beginning to grow into this a little more after a bit of a shell shock opening 15 minutes.
Yeah, and from Bristol Bears scrum, they've now sown the seed in the referee Benjamin Wood's mind that they are the dominant scrum. That's the 2 consecutive penalties that have been clearly dominant and have both won penalties. And that is a warning sign for Trailfinders that they need to be working out how they're going to solve that and hold that steady, because it's going to cost them a lot if they can't, because it's a cheap and easy way to move down the field into their 22. I think the forwards might complain that I've called it an easy way.
Cheap and easy were the words going through my head. There were all sorts of ideas I had. I've left it there.
You know, if I speak to Sarah Byrne afterwards, she might go, "You think that's easy? You think that was easy?" Yeah, Simi Pam will look at me, big frown. But in terms of the territory gain, it is cheap and easy. But the work that they've had to do to achieve that, I do concede.
Last week at Shaftesbury Park, Bristol losing out by 12 points to 33 against Saracens. They actually made less than a third of the number of tackles that Saracens made, which showed you the power of the Sarries' defence and just how little they could get around them. It was an extraordinary stat when I saw that one over the course of the week.
Yeah, I really think they got that tactically not great. They didn't run that game well at all, Bristol Bears.
Time on.
Here we go. Running repairs completed. Bristol going in search of a second try. Good take. Herring, Byrne with the break not held, and a chance to go straight through. Sarah Byrne on the rampage in West London. Brings Bristol Bears level. You can't take your eyes off the world champion Red Rose. Devastating.
And looking at the stats that you were just talking about, in the game against Sale, Trailfinders missed 24 tackles, and that is just a crucial one that's just been missed. But interestingly for me, when that injury was being looked out for, Bristol were in a whole huddle of exactly what was going to happen next. Very interesting to see if that was the plan, but Sarah Byrne was the one doing the talking, leading as the captain of the team, saying, right, this is an opportunity, this is where it is. And then obviously as that tackle fell off her, she is not the person that you can afford to do that to. She will finish those every time. And at the moment, she really is leading from the front as well as vocally in those opportunities.
Kira Bevan knocks over the extras, and well, it's co-captains getting the points on the board. Byrne with the try, Bevan with the conversion.
I think you can happily say now Bristol are off the bus. They are here. We have, as I've said before, game on.
Just took them until 3:20 to get here, that's all.
Next week's work on.
Bevan for Skews. Herring. Gallagher. Borland looking to try and step around Pan. Oh, and the penalty's gone against Simi Pan. Not making friends with referee Benjamin Wood this afternoon. Christmas card list. It's got a little bit shorter for Simi Pan.
Yeah, so then where she's made the tackle there, she's just fallen and not made the real attempt to roll away. So she's lying there, and then she just gets stuck in around the scrum half. And as soon as you go anywhere near a scrum half, the referee's not going to have any of it.
There was an effort, wasn't there? I'm sure Simi Pan will argue there was an effort to move.
But she rolled into the 9. So she went north-south instead of east-west.
There we go.
And what she needs to do is roll east-west so the scrum half can play it. And a referee, if you go north, straight into the scrum half, he's going to give it every single time.
From the penalty, this position then for Trailfinders, having just got themselves into the lead with that Bevan conversion. Are they going to concede at the other end? Oh, Bristol have come up with it. Coming up with it and then knocking it on. Absolutely killer for the visitors.
Oh, that could have been really exciting. That will be something that will probably haunt her, because they've turned that over, ripped it through, and this is where Bristol love to play. And, you know, they could have moved that down the back line there on transition, and she's just not ready for it.
Tricky one for Lucy Skews. Could hear Millie David licking her lips from here when that ball came back on the Bristol side, but it wasn't to be. And now it's Trailfinders, and they're set up quite narrow here.
So do we make a bet that this is an Abby Burton pick, or is this going to come out to the backs?
Coach!
I think I'm going to put my money on Abby Burton taking this and having a go herself.
And various people looking to live off the spoils of where she might get to. Let's have a look. She has started to shift. It's under the left peg, but Amory's going to play it. Gallagher's going to go. Oh, and get pushed out into touch. Bristol are thrilled with that defensive effort. And well, they might be.
We had touch and goal.
That was a fantastic effort from Kira Bevan and Renika Bonner. And Renika made a fabulous try-saving tackle last week as well against Saracens. And she and Kira have done that again. That's a phenomenal read.
Goal line dropout then.
Opportunity to clear their lines. And You know, Trailfinders will be really a bit frustrated with that because they got a second bite of the cherry when that ball was dropped, and these are the moments in games like this that you've got to take your opportunities.
Play back in for Abby Burton. Look at the run here into Pam again, who wasn't entirely learning from her lesson a little earlier. Malcolm was stopped. Being played at breakneck speed this by certainly the back rowers. Haven't seen too much of the wingers just yet, but the physicality in this game is not taking any backward step as Ponsonby takes it on. Borland and Burton. Gallagher. Jones. Getting on the outside, sensing a chance to get around Delaney Burns and then send Julia Shell looking to get into the corner. Have they managed to get the ball down? I think the assistant says yes. Try awarded. Grace White, was it? Congratulating combination of each other down there. I think it was White who got it down. Jones certainly in the thick of things, as ever.
Well, it was the impact of Meg coming in and running hard, which means defenders have to come to her. At one point, I thought she was going to show and go herself. So she's running in hard there, and Millie David has to stay with her. She's got no choice. They almost get across, and yeah, it's Grace White that puts it down. GB Sevens capped last year. Fabulous growth in Grace in her game. She was one of the top try scorers in PWR last year. Punches well above her weight. She is so powerful and so strong, and that battle between her and Millie going forward, they're both similar age, come through age group together, and Grace has just scored a really lovely try there.
Similar age, same position, both shocker blonde hair on the top. It's quite interesting watching them go against each other, isn't it? I've been telling myself all week, don't say Grace White when you mean Millie David, because the two of them are up against each other down this left-hand channel.
And I actually think that's going to be a battle. There's, you know, and Renika Bonner also in this, that these wingers now battle in their journey to become Red Roses.
Lovely shaping of the ball in the hand from Meg Jones. Oh my goodness me. Jenny Hesketh lost her footing and controlled that between her two toes.
Cristiano Ronaldo style. That was incredible.
Shush. Bevan plays on for Skews. Ball just came flying back out from Cunningham, but they've dealt with it well. Lovibond just lost it.
Lovely footwork from Malibon, but again, that late switch that she's looking for, the read isn't coming in from those that she's looking for. Perhaps slightly overcomplicating it. Needs to if the options aren't there, look at that trap between her foot. Cristiano would have been very proud of that. Fantastic. But just that slight overcomplication from Bristol Bears out in the wide channels. Just need to simplify it slightly and let the ball do the work. Centrefield scrum, favourite attacking platform. Let's see what Bristol are choosing to do from this.
Bevan. Skews, Gallagher on the run around, then the incisive line from out wide. God, look at the battle in there. The wrestling from Leatherman. Super defence. Skews again. Byrne into that gap between two players. Look for the support of Pam, who couldn't quite hold it. Players all over it. Knock-on advantage then to the home side, who are back in the lead, 17 points to 14, Trailfinders. Gallagher. Jones outside of the right peg. That will just bobble into touch before the 22. Had it been after, it would have been a 50-22, but Bristol will have the line out. Trailfinders controlling field position nicely through Meg Jones.
I think we might have just had an accidental offside there, but the referees just let it roll on. But that, again, beautiful technique from Jones and literally metre from regaining that 50-22. But I think that you'll find that Trailfinders will put a lot of pressure now on this throw to try and regain.
Bevan. Burn. Oh, and Burn. 10-metre gain before Grace Moore was eventually the one to hitch a ride and bring her down. Difficult one for Emma Orr to take this bouncing ball. And Trailfinders up, putting the pressure on. Penalty, Bristol. In at the side, the call. They will breathe a sigh of relief there after that slightly messy passing in the backfield.
Yeah, Claire Gallagher there just joining in from the side. Meg Jones having a fight with 4 of them, and Claire coming to support her, but came in from the side.
When I did my referee training many years ago, Giselle, they said you have to imagine as a referee that you put up 2 garden fences either side of the breakdown, and then you envisage that in your mind's eye so that if any players come in from the side, they burst through those garden fences and you mentally can see that picture very clearly. Quite good, I thought.
Absolutely, but when Meg Jones is there, she fights through all the fences all the time. Sarah Byrne fights through her fences all the time.
It's gone over the top. Ponsonby was right in position to take it. Plays nicely for Gallagher. Good ball playing hooker. The Black Fern in Ponsonby. Amory. Gallagher. Missed pass for Jones, who's just to control this and find a little bit of space. Millie David will get hold of it. Steps away from Jones. Beats 2 defenders. Won't get through Leatherman that time.
Beautiful ball press there from Millie David at the end of that as well.
Evie Gallagher being wrestled with by Montiel. Skews with the clearance. Lots of airtime on it. Comes down for Gallagher. Looks to her Canadian teammate in Julia Schell. Player of the match last week for Trailfinders. Hesketh. Oh, just bounced into the challenge of Francesca McGee. Not so much a tackle really as a half body check. Nobody there to play it away. They need a little bit more security at the back there. And, well, if you're calling on security, and bouncer number 1 is Sarah Byrne.
Trailfinders making them work incredibly hard for every breakdown at the moment. Really putting numbers in and trying to counter up, demanding from Bristol that they bring numbers in to their breakdown. But they are clearing their lines well at the moment, not trying to overplay in the wrong areas.
Jones. Shown the gap and invited into it. And then it's shut down. They might have some width here to play with against a narrower Bristol defence. But, oh, they've turned it over, but illegally so. Players have got to roll away. Quick tap from Gallagher. Gets around Balogun. Quick ball. Leatherman. Jones comes rushing in, sensing the importance of securing possession. Then it's Grace Moore. Bowling through they go again. Leatherman again wanting to just get that last half metre and get over the line. Not this time. They're pointing to the ball on the line. Kate Zachary is trying to make the decision for the referee here. But in lieu of anything else, he's going to say it's held up. We've not got the benefit of the TMO in today's match, despite the efforts of Leatherman and her countrywoman Kate Zach saying that this was scored. Not enough for the referee to give it.
Yeah, I think from that point of view there, he hadn't given it straight away. I think one more phase and Trailfinders could well have been in there, so asking him to look for that. Held up, and Bristol's goal line D has been phenomenal. They really are, again, making Trailfinders work very, very hard for that. And they're getting their numbers there, coming round the side, folding around the rucks really, really well.
Burton, former Sevens player herself, the back rower. Ponsonby, straight into the physical challenge of Cunningham. Balling around the corner at speed. There is so much more about this Trailfinders women's side than when we were here for that round 1 match where every little ball, every little support line was a half a metre the wrong way. It just wasn't sticking for Barney Madison's side then, but a couple of weeks further on, the work they've been putting in with those returned World Cup stars beginning to pay dividends in terms of the timing. Clock going into the red on our picture. We are on the referee's whistle. So this is our best estimation, but the Bristol defence proving again to be a tricky one for Trailfinders to break down at the minute. 3 tries on the board. Shell. Dummy. Back in field and thrown to ground. Oh, it might have just opened up here for Gallagher. Gets the pop away for Borland. It's brilliant from Gallagher. Borland, right place, right time more than anything.
Magical offload, absolutely magical. Just slipped that ball there. The support lines from Borland are on there, but wow from Gallagher. And there was huge momentum for Trailfinders there. They've had the ball for the last 7 or 8 minutes, constant attack, constant at them, and Bristol have done incredibly well. If they could have just held that out, but look as she takes this now. Beautiful fend, she twists and then just releases that. That is just gorgeous.
Exquisite, isn't it? 4th try and bonus point right on the stroke of half-time.
That's a magical moment, and games spin on magical moments.
McJones thumps it through, and our referee Ben Wood rounds off that first half. 4 tries on the board then for Trailfinders women, and they built themselves up a 10-point advantage over the Bears. Rachel Malcolm opening the scoring. Ponsonby, Grace White and Alana Borland there just on the stroke of half-time to the scores from Simi Pam, who made amends after the yellow card, and Sarah Byrne leading from the front as we would expect. But this game is delivering. Ball in play time, big hits, great scores. Half-time at the Trailfinders Sports Ground. It is Trailfinders women 24, Bristol Bears 14.
New era.
Fearless, fast, powerful. We are Trailfinders women.
It's such a great feeling to play at Trailfinders. We've got such a strong following out in West Ealing. That's our home turf.
We're going to be fast and furious. We're going to bring the tries, and we're so excited to start.
We've got big names coming in. We've got a lot of internationals to go up.
We're such a tight-knit group. Everyone just expresses themselves.
Meg Jones is going to bring magic. Magic Meg. Trailfinders, we're going to bring energy, passion, and a lot more flair.
New era.
What a setting in Sale. The sun is cast across the pitch. So Trailfinders are working this forward there up to the line, and they're muscling their way over. Rigoni wants it. Are Sale going to give it to her? They're going to change things up and go back to the right-hand side. Aitchison, Duffy and Rona Lloyd to dive in. Nicely worked back to Grace White, who charges for 15 metres. Amory, Burton, bundles over Gerald Searcy, and still goes. Abby Burton breaking free and heading for the line. It's a Burton special. Amory with a solid platform to work from. Jones to the line, and then it's pulled back nicely. Coming into things is Fran McGee for the first time. Shell gets the pass back, and then Zachary takes over, and Zachary zeroes in on the try line. Shell is there, and she places it just short. Trailfinders swarming once more, and McGee follows in. Amory, Borland, big shot on Borland from Sophie Benevent. Good tackle from the Sale Shark. Over to the left-hand side, into the hands now of White, and then Jones will fend, and Magic Meg skates in for Trailfinders. They've got to make every 22 entry count now, you feel. And Cocaine is in there. Frey, likewise. And she gives a second effort here. Ralph might be deciding that the backs have to be involved here, although the forwards keep it rumbling, and they get all the way. And congratulations for the quality of this start from Trailfinders, and they want more here. Zachary, Jones, just with White on the outside. White against Thorpe. White sets her sights down the gunnels, and she finds the space, running it all the way home. Ponsonby. Burton just can't take it. Cocaine can't take it either. So it does come back on Trailfinders' side. A pinpoint pass from Jones, and McGee attacks the line. Shell injects speed, and Julia Shell sizes up the last defender, cuts on back, and Shell scores. Ponsonby has it. She got the celebration started in this match with the first score. Similar number of minutes into the first half that she's got it now. Amory, however, alights. Cox, lovely line from Karis Cox, and she charges through. Playing with the advantage here, Paris Redding shoots into the fray. Ortiz, a little bit of width here now. Duffy arrives, and then the pass is over into the corner. Lloyd wants number 2. Rona Lloyd sees the referee's arm raised. Inman hit hard, good pass though. Cox is here, and Cox will run it all the way home. It's a wonderful game when you play it like Trailfinders. Burton wants more, and it's opening up a little on the left-hand side. Sharks running short of numbers. Change of direction, and the crossfield comes in from Gallagher. It'll bounce up perfectly, and Inman is in. Spun away. Shell sends Inman racing down the sidelines. Inman has got her foot to it first, and then Lloyd arrives, and then Gallagher arrives, and here they come, and Shell is going to profit from this. It's remarkable. Fielding. Rising high is Donaldson. Good take from the Scot. In goes Harper. The Sharks being roared onwards in search of this try bonus, and they make headway. Harper goes in for a second time. Jarrell Searcy lends her weight. Paris Redding raises her hands. The Sharks have the try bonus.
New era.
Bristol Bears are winning the Prem. Come on, Bears! Bristol as a city absolutely loves rugby. They're passionate. I love the uniqueness, I love the ambition, and I love the drive to succeed. There's loads of skill on show. We take risks. It's all about power, passion, being celebrated for who you are and inspiring other people to do the same. Players to look out for: Sarah Byrne, Millie David, and Renika Bonner. We want to grow the women's game. We're excited about it. We've got amazing people in place to help us to do so. So if you want to be entertained, get down to Ashton Gate.
New era.
Well, we are here at Trailfinders, up in our little commentary position. We've been enjoying that first half, haven't we, Giselle Mather, former coach here at Trailfinders, World Cup winner from '94?
Yeah, it's been a great game. A little slow Bristol start. Trailfinders taking advantage, then Bristol back into it, and then the last 7 minutes, all Trailfinders. Bristol's defence was fantastic, but it just cracked just before going in.
Yeah, and you just said to me as we were looking at that Trailfinders display from last week, that in terms of a coach's point of view, which is, you know, a role you're so familiar with, you defend so well for that time, and then you concede that try where, you know, a 3-point margin is, yeah, well done, we just did everything we needed to stay in this. But suddenly it being 10 points and allowing that dam to have broken puts you in quite a different place psychologically. Absolutely.
The changing room now would be very different. If Bristol Bears had not allowed that try to go in, they go in jubilant in the fact that they've held them out for 7 minutes, that they've held them up over the line twice, that they've kicked it through, all those things. They go in and go, yes, we're there, we're in this. And Trailfinders going, oh, we just bombarded the line and we couldn't get over it. And then all of a sudden we get that beautiful moment from Claire Gallagher, and Alana Bonner goes in to score, and it completely changes everything. Trailfinders go in saying yes, and that 7 minutes they've been in attack, they don't see it as a negative. And then the defence that's been such a positive suddenly is, yeah, but we let them in. And now we're 22-14 down. So it just changes the whole vibe of what Scott Lawson will be saying, what Barney Madison will be saying, and how the players and the captains feel with that.
Yeah, Rachel Malcolm was the one to to get things going then, getting the first try on the board. Simi Pam receiving the yellow card for a bit of an upright shot. Referee spot on with that one, and then Trailfinders rolled into their second with Georgia Ponsonby.
Yeah, really, really, dominant from forwards, and again, different from what perhaps I was expecting to see Francesca McGee with ball in hand, and expecting to see Renika Bonner and Millie David. But what we've seen is forwards hammering at each other and taking control of. Sarah Byrne's been exceptional for Bristol Bears. Simi Pam punching her holes in there and going over. And it's been a lot tighter in terms of the scores and the players that are scoring them to perhaps what we perceived would be the case. And maybe in the second half things might be different. But Sarah there, keeping her balance. Look at that. I mean, she's just come off her right foot, pushed in once that gap appeared, keeps her balance in that contact situation. And here we see Meg Jones adding that acceleration, calling in Millie David, which gives Julia's very good at keeping that ball alive. It is her go-to. She doesn't like to die with ball onto the floor, and she did really well there. And then we have this moment, that hit, that spin, and that offload. Oh, that is peachy, absolutely peachy.
Gets better each time we watch it, doesn't it?
That's the admission price, done and dusted in that moment. Really, really good. Just that little flick, absolutely gorgeous, and totally changes the two half-time talks that will be going on in those changing rooms, as I've already said.
4 tries to 2 then. Trailfinders putting themselves in a decent position now as we await the start of the second half. Good to see a few people. There's someone in short sleeves. What's wrong with you?
Yeah, it's kind of chilly around here now. It's kind of chilly around here, so she's made of sterner stuff than I am.
It's the power of the bear on the head, I think. That's obviously bringing full warmth, which we're loving. Everybody no doubt checking the scores across the PWR this weekend. We do have coverage going on across the weekend of all of our games, and PWR channels are the places to keep up with all of the latest scores. But here on BBC iPlayer, we'll have the second half coming for you very shortly.
And it will be interesting to see now how they come out, how the games might change. I'm very impressed that Bristol have changed the way that they're exiting now. You can hear the coach shouting below us, exit, exit, not wanting them to play too much in there, and they are doing that, and I think they've got reward from doing that. I love the way that Ella Amory at the moment, the pass that she's making just is giving that extra width, which means that the pods that she's hitting are getting into third or fourth defender from Bristol, which is then causing them in the next phase more problems out wide, which is fantastic to see, and she's consistently hitting those passes really well. So that's something from Trailfinders, and I think Bristol need to get their defence just a little bit wider to cope with that and stop that being an issue for them.
You talked about that element of a score before half-time psychologically. Both of these teams, as we've said, they've had a bye week, so they've only played 2 games as we come into this round 4 match, each with a win and a loss. So actually at this point of the season, for your round 4 game, a victory here is also the opportunity to jump to the other end of the table. Teams in 7th and 8th position. So, not only can a try before half-time have that sort of psychological impact, but actually a result for either of these 2 teams today is, we might only be 4 rounds into the season, but it's big in terms of the psychology of what sort of team you're going to see yourself as for the rest of the season, right?
Absolutely, and that is massive. You're absolutely nail on the head. That whichever team takes the spoils today, and already Trailfinders have got a bonus point, so they've moved in that direction of making it 5 should they win the game. But whoever does take that, it really does set your, you look at yourself and you are in the top 4 of the table, and then the self-confidence, the belief, and then the fact that you're a brand new team, getting together, suddenly that's not a problem anymore, and winning just gives you a whole different vibe. Whereas if you've struggled and you haven't made that connection and you haven't taken that result, you go back going, well, maybe what we're doing isn't good enough, which again often isn't the case. Sometimes you throw the baby out with the bathwater when you shouldn't be doing that, and you become reactive instead of proactive just because early results have gone against you.
Causes that little worry, that little concern in the mind. All right, we'll be back with the start of the second half in just a moment.
New era.
Fearless, fast, powerful. We are Trailfinders women.
It's such a great feeling to play at Trailfinders. We've got such a strong following out in West Ealing. That's our home turf.
We're going to be fast and furious. We're going to bring the tries, and we're so excited to start.
We've got big names coming in, we've got a lot of internationals to go up.
We're such a tight-knit group, everyone just expresses themselves.
Meg Jones is going to bring magic, Magic Meg. Trailfinders, we're going to bring energy, passion, and a lot more flair.
Bristol Bears are winning the Prem. Come on, Bears! Bristol as a city absolutely loves rugby. They're passionate. I love the uniqueness, I love the ambition, and I love the drive to succeed. There's loads of skill on show. We take risks. It's all about power, passion, being celebrated for who you are and inspiring other people to do the same. Players to look out for: Sarah Byrne, Millie David, and Renika Bonner. We want to grow the women's game. We're excited about it. We've got amazing people in place to help us to do so. So if you want to be entertained, get down to Ashton Gate.
Lark Atkin-Davis alongside Sarah Byrne at the end of that VT. No Lark at the minute for Bristol Bears. Holly Phillips, their hooker in prime position, who had ankle reconstruction surgery just over a year ago. We've had the coaches come out of the changing rooms. The last words will be being had among the playing group. No doubt the likes of Kate Zachary, who we were delighted to speak to at the top of the show. If you've just joined us, then by all means feel free to wheel back to that at your own convenience. See, the wind is just sort of playing to what was slightly at the back of the Bristol Bears. I mean, from your time coaching here, Giselle, does the ground here offer any little hints and cheats?
It's not as bad as Sandy Park. Sandy Park is all about the wind. Is all about the second half and different ways to play.
Yeah.
Up here, yeah, the wind can swell. It can catch, but I wouldn't say it's a key factor. I think the key factor now in this game is the scrum. The last two scrums that Trailfinders were able to hold, so that was interesting. And also when Bristol Bears were on the scrumming on their own line, they didn't push it in the same way, and could have messed up Trailfinders' attack right at the beginning, and they didn't commit to that, which I thought was an interesting thing as well. Because if you are dominant, you're dominant, whether it's ball in or defence, and I think that they could perhaps do more with that as well. So that'll be an interesting battle that will unfold in the second half, and they've had a chance to talk about it and see what it is that they're going to do from both sides.
There's someone saying, look, I've heard it's Giselle on co-commentary. We should be tuning in. That's what they're doing at the back of the stand over there. Brilliant work from our Rugby World Cup winner from 1994. Of course, we talked about the fact that, you know, Bristol have this moniker of Jouet playing out of their 22. I wanted to have a little look at that this week. Last season, only 22% of possession was kicked from their own 22, which, you know, certainly gives you the answer you want as to how often they would try and run themselves out of trouble. But actually, over the first couple of PWR games of the season they played, that's up to 46% possession. So the shift from the Dave Ward era to the Scott Lawson era is that, and I think we've seen it from Kira Bevan a couple of times today, that kick exit to just try and get yourself out of trouble is something that seems to be on the menu a little more this season.
Absolutely, and I think it's really important that they do that because, as I said at the beginning, all PWR sides know they do that. So you allow them to do that, you make the tackles, keep them there, and then you go after them in the wide channels and turn the ball over. Or the moment that as they release in and someone takes a half gap, you get in there and you turn it over, which is what Trailfinders did at the beginning. And so Bristol have gone now to their kicking. And you know, they've always been a very, very phenomenal side, but never quite made the full thing because they overplay. So if you want to win, you have got to do something slightly different, even though the entertainment that they bring is fabulous.
Well, entertainment in spades over that first 40. The score at the break, as we mentioned, just extending that margin to 10 points. Ten points the difference then. It's going to be Bristol through Lucy Scoos. Burton. Good take. followed by Lovibond. Borland, one who scored that try at the end of the first 40. Amory. Shell. Oh, almost a part crossfield kick, and they're certainly sending Grace White after that. Flag has gone up on the other side, but that was very cute from Julia Shell and a super take from White.
That was fantastic from Grace White. She's totally committed to it, running really, really hard to chase that, and not sure that defensively they were aware that she was that close. That was absolutely phenomenal, as was the tackle, though, to take her. That was a high-speed collision from both.
Pick up from Skews. Byrne. Took Grace Moore as the first name, but Moore clung on to bring down the Red Rose. A little more floated, not the easiest for Hesketh. Under a lot of pressure, but well driven on by Herring. They're desperate to try and get the ball back, but it might come back on the Trailfinders' side here, or at the very least, without coming back immediately on the Bears one, the referee will have to do what he's just done. If you take the ball into contact and you can't win it when it gets to ground, you will turn it over. And that will do very nicely. The centre combination there of Caris Cox and Meg Jones working in tandem.
Caris Cox there getting underneath, so Meg making the initial hit, and the two of them there. Jenny Hesketh is trying to get her knees to ground to be able to force the release of tackle, and they just kept her up. Proper choke tackle, the two of them together, and they've earned this right to attack from this scrum. Let's see whether Bristol go at it from a defensive point of view.
Perhaps it is that little sprinkle of confidence and belief from that half-time score that is just prompting them to work and get those extra percentage moments in those collisions. Amory. Not quite been hooked back immediately. You can see the ball just there, and in fact it was there for Bristol to win against the head, which they've been able to do. Emma Orr. It was a slightly lackadaisical right foot clearance as the contact came in on the Scottish centre at the same time. Trailfinders won't mind too much to be having the line out on that far side. Now we've got the introduction of a Team GB Sevens player, soon to be a mum, of course. Jasmine Joyce onto the field.
Speed. She needs no introduction, does Jazz Joyce. No introduction whatsoever. So interesting to see what impact she's going to make. But that transition from scrum obviously didn't quite get the depth that the backs needed to get that ball to the final pass. So Emma having to kick that through.
Grace White has dealt with a little bit of spare ball here. A lovely stop go from the winger and excellent work to get it away. Francesca McGee, though, was shown the door by her Scots woman compatriot in Emma Orr. There are these international relationships all over the field. Lovely from White, though. It needed someone to tidy up. There was a bit of guesswork on the pass over the shoulder, wasn't there?
But Grace White really making an impact on this game. She's the winger that is the most involved out of the four, and work there from one side to the other, and then that nice little offload to release.
Down from Balogun. Skews for Byrne. Played a bit at centre when she was growing up, and certainly very happy popping up there. I'm going to try and hold them up again here, but I think this one might still be back on the Bears' side. It's there for Bevan. Back in for Cunningham. Looks to try and drive beyond the tackle, and Moore does well to get out the way. Balogun's on the outside of Byrne. Or scrambling to try and get past the first defender. One of the Bristol players is just down getting some attention. They didn't quite see who that was. Player's going to come this way in a moment. Or it's Lovibond. Grace Moore's gone to try and get over that, but lost her balance, so yeah, the referee's decided that we do need to stop the game for the player who's down.
So just while that injury's going on, the effect that Sarah Byrne is having on this game, the carries that she's having I think we do need to point out that she's also scrummaging beforehand and turning scrums over as well, gaining penalties, taking ball, part of the front row that's taking ball against the head and making huge impacts around the field, which, you know, you have to give credit for. Look at this, the carry, you know, 2 double tackle that's being hit, and she's still coming through, scrummaging her heart out there, leading it up from tight head. Just a phenomenal impact, and to scrummage like this and then to have the impact that she's having around the field is to be, I mean, she's not a world champion for nothing.
The Sarah Byrne show.
She is having an enormous impact, and as I said, also if you look at them now, they're around in a big huddle, and she is leading that conversation as well. Really on it today.
I remember speaking to a slightly shyer Sarah Byrne in the stands in Belfast during the 2017 Rugby World Cup, and the voice was a lot more demure, the body language was a lot more, can I hide from anybody at this moment? She was certainly a very different character there. The blossoming, the growth of this woman has been one of the highlights of watching the women's game over the past few years, and that influence of, you know, spending time with someone like Ilona Maher last season to then have such strong messages around body confidence. I mean, if you want role models, you don't have to look much further than Sarah Byrne.
Yeah, she really is making that impact both on and off the field at the moment in the women's game, and it's fabulous to see. I don't know that I would have picked demure as a word that I would describe Sarah, and I hope she doesn't take that in any offence at all. But when you watch her carry and you watch how she is, you know, she leads, she's strong, she's powerful, and she's really taking this team with her and thriving with this responsibility of captaining the side today.
Giselle Mather, who is with us watching on, former coach at Trailfinders, and Jenny Herring, really pleased to see, is back to her feet and ready to rejoin after just getting the once over from the medics.
She's another player who's been making big impact in the contact areas, really taking responsibility to just carry the ball forward, maybe not bursting through tackles in quite the same way as Sarah, but that impact that she's having, you can't underestimate the work that players do around that contact area to produce the ball for others to run into the spaces that get created by that. Evie Gallagher, another player who just works so hard in the darker arts of this game to produce the ball for others to play.
Welsh scrum half has had a chat with Scottish number 8 at Bristol. Gallagher knows what the job is, and they're going to come down this side. Plays it away for Bevan. She's looking for the 22, the 50-22, but it hasn't worked, and the first one to react to that is Rachel Malcolm, who gives it the traditional double pump to the skies. Not one to celebrate someone else's misfortune, but she's very pleased with the position this has given her side.
And that is what she will be celebrating, is that becomes a critical moment. So rather than them having to defend a line out in the 22, they're in possession of the ball on the opposition's 10-metre line, and swings like that, small errors in the actual kicking technique, but massive area in terms of the game.
Zachary well wrapped up. Amory just momentarily got in the way, but it didn't affect the game, and is able to be back there. Zachary, the dummy runner. Grace Moore, former Saracen, and of course Irish international. Good low take from Burton, plays to her England teammate, fellow World Cup winner Meg Jones. Oh, and there's the penalty. Player on the ball and not able to get away.
No release at all in that tackle, so Kira goes in and makes the tackle and just didn't release, straight in over the ball, and now she's rolled the ball away and given 10 again. So, you know, when your 9 starts doing that, she's obviously still very disappointed about kicking the ball out on the full. She's now given away a penalty in the contact and then given 10 metres, and Sarah, captain or whoever, just needs to bring her back on and get her back on task.
It's those error-on-error moments that we talk about in the game. You don't want to be the one making them, and you do have to try and turn things around as quickly as you can. This, a key position for Trailfinders to try and be the first team to get points in the second half. They play it away for Ponsonby. No one outside. Georgia Ponsonby recognised that at the last second and had to hold on to the ball as we crane our necks out of our commentary position down towards that left corner. Amory back in for Burton. Another one who gets through an awful lot of that work. Quickly on from Zachary. Didn't get to hand and almost getting in each other's way a little bit, but... Oh, turnover opportunity. It came out for Gallagher, but the penalty was the call.
If that penalty's gone against Evie Gallagher, I don't think that's right. The ball was there, it was then open, and the ref was on the other side. I'm not sure if that is what the penalty was for, but I thought that steal from Evie Gallagher was classic Evie Gallagher, reading it, seeing it, and stealing well.
Bristol, take the line. Sarah, discipline now.
Good take, but oh, penalty, and now in fact the referee's going to the pocket here. Bristol find themselves down to 14.
I think that the lifter there was taken out, which is why we saw Abby tip up slightly. You can't do that, the safety of the athlete in the air, and I think that's why the yellow card has been given straight away.
Yeah, Delaney Burns has copped it.
She tips there. Difficult to see from this place in there, but that can be the only thing that I can think is the yellow card reason, because Abby was tipped in the air, and that can be incredibly dangerous.
Burton's going to be the option. Now this moves, now it looks over, now the referee says try time once again for Trailfinders women. First score of the second half. And that 12-point swing conversion to come either side of half-time as Georgia Ponsonby gets a second score. Well, how decisive could that prove to be in this contest?
That is a huge moment, that yellow card, which... Again, from Bristol's point of view now, they are looking at a mountain to climb, and as you rightly say, try either side of half-time takes the sting a little bit out of the game. So the Bears now are going to have to throw everything they've got at this. It might see them change their tactics just slightly to try and put a bit more width on the ball to bring their wingers into the game, because with Millie David, Jazz Joyce, Rennie Cabona in this game have not had the opportunities that they would have wanted. Fabulous conversion there from Meg Jones to take the score up to 29-14. 31-14, my apologies.
So changes are being made for both sides. Trailfinders changing at scrum half. So Brooke Bradley has come onto the field. Borland. 16-point lead. Having a look. One goes towards Bristol.
Again, you saw your north-south. She's dived back across towards the scrum half. Can't be doing that. And Jenny Hesketh been very safe there, always running through, collecting the balls that have been kicked her. She's doing a lot of really hard graph work there, straight into the contact situations. So Bristol Bears really got to launch from this now. They've got to get a score early doors if they're going to at least aim for that 4 tries bonus point. They really now need to throw the kitchen sink at Trailfinders from this opportunity.
Christiana Balogun is the one who's just suffering with a bit of cramp by the looks of things. Simi Palmer's made way. We saw a little glimpse of Maisie Davis earlier on. 12-cap Welsh prop. And in fact, they are going to make the change with Balogun leaving the field and Nicola Beat, former Wasp player, coming into the action. Good take at the top from Cunningham. Burn, another rampager. Just such a trademark, isn't it? Now they get the chance to come round, try and put some more numbers in that left-hand flank. They make some good meters. But is it turnover time? Not quite. Referee thought about it. They're under a lot of pressure here. And look at it, trying to hold them up again. Referee might have to pick the bones out of this one. In fact, it's going to be a Bristol penalty.
You left them all and then you played the ball. You left them all first and then played the ball from an offside position.
Good spot from the referee.
One of rugby's beautiful technicalities. If you ever have a boring couple of hours and you read the law books of rugby union, there are some moments in there where you're just like, what? And to a degree, that is one of them.
I think my one is the fact you can be running around the outside of in goal but reach in and tap the ball down with your hand. That one's ridiculous for me. But anyway, we'll save some of those delights for another time.
Absolutely, as I say, 2 hours of your life.
That's just for me and Giselle Mather and an eggnog at Christmas. That's the sort of joy we'll get out of a moment like that. Herring brings it down then. Bristol going in search of a third try. Oh, and they are rumbling close. Referee has a look. It's there, and it is the score. Evie Gallagher. Well, last week she saw a ball from down in front of the post. She picked it up, she jumped over. She's done very similar out on the wide left. There is a long way to go on the scoreboard and on the watch, though. So try number 3. Conversion to come. Bristol not down and out yet.
Evie Gallagher, this is a player that just, the work rate, she's in the thick of everything, and so when moments like that occur, she is always the player that's there just because she works so hard. She's involved in everything in the tight work, and she really is phenomenal. That body position that she takes as soon as she's there, nice and low to the ground, beautiful dive in, and that takes the try on. And I think from Bristol's point of view now, it's every step, although yes, the scoreline is still, you know, they've got a long way to go, but if you focus now on the next try to give you the bonus point, that starts to draw the game in, and you just take each step as it's time at a time, and then you never know what the final result will be.
Bevan looking to give this as much laser eye focus as she can. It's going to just carry, but not quite accurate enough. It's an interesting point you make there, Giselle, because do you aim to get the right messaging to a team that actually, I want you to focus on the 4th try, not what the 4th try means in terms of the game? So actually the mountain or whatever you might be climbing, the sense of approaching a victory might seem a little, you know, the stakes may seem too high, whereas just going and getting the next try is all I want you to worry about.
Yeah, I think it's about being present. All coaches talk about being where your feet are, and where their feet are right now is they need the 4th try, you know, and that's obviously moving them in the direction of winning the game as well. But the next thing is 4th try, and they will get, you know, return on a league table for that 4th try. So it's a really big motivation. It's real. It's not something that you look at on the thing and think, oh, coach thinks we're going to win this game. Nothing like that. It's just let's go for this next try.
Next job. As we hear plenty of in rugby circles.
No way.
Again, a bit more continuity from Bristol, but they've gone back to that type of running it from deep. Burn into the replacement, Hayley Head, who's come on for Trailfinders. They've gone for, well, that was not on from Lisa Skews. No one else on the same page. Bit of a wasted moment.
indecision, you could see that, and also she didn't have the right depth to be able to execute something like that. She was way too flat and just had a complete indecisive moment, which again, if you look where that indecisive moment has taken place, just outside her 22, now the team are doing what Bristol, they put, as you said, phases together, looking like they're bringing the impact in, and now suddenly they've been turned over in their own half.
Bradley Jones. Was it going to be deeper? No, it was going to be for her well centre Caris Cox, but that's a super turnover from the Bears.
So there you see Ella Loverbond make a fabulous tackle. Caris Cox coming at full pace. Ella Loverbond really puts her body in the way, and look who it is that gets straight over in those areas. In goes Evie Gallagher, straight in, straight over the ball. And that is her trademark. Beautifully done. Worth her weight in gold is Evie Gallagher, and punches well above that weight as well.
Bevan. That's the first we've really seen of Renika Bonner. It's a nice line. It's a little telegraphed, but if they could get that one a little cleaner, it would be lovely to see Bonner popping up in those channels a little bit more. It's a nice little dig through. It's not worked out, and they all stop for a moment, but everybody's stopping except Emma Orr. Davis. Bonner is calling for it out wide right. It's there for Skews, sends it deeper. Now it's there for Bonner. Fancies the one-on-one, but there was very little room to work it. And they're going to try and get her close to that touchline. She released before she got there, so it's there for Phillips. Gallagher is there. Defensive line tearing up from Trailfinders to try and shut down that space. Not much room for Jasmine Joyce. It gets hacked forwards, but there was a knock-on in there as well in the tackle. Well spotted by the officiating team before Meg Jones got to ride her bike all the way to the try line.
So yeah, some lovely play there from Bristol, perhaps more like we're used to seeing them play, but a nice little chip over the top, which Emma Orr straight in and then and responding. And as you rightly say, everybody else seemed to go, oh, they've got, and then it came good. But I think from my point of view, players like Renika Bonner, such an amazing talent and not being used. It's like having, a major weapon in the armoury and you're just not releasing it. And for whatever reason, she has been unable to show the talent that she has. And as you rightly say there, she got the ball then in very little space and did incredibly well to not go out into touch.
Well, Natalia John has come onto the field, but we've also seen the return of Delaney Burns. So Bristol getting back up to their full complement, having conceded a try during that period.
And that try was conceded directly after it, so I think they've managed that 10-minute spell very, very well, Bristol.
Tilly Ryle is onto the field, which will see Kira Bevan slip into the 10 position. Penalty Trailfinders, and look at the celebrations. Hayley Head, it's like they won the cup.
That's fantastic. They've obviously not really enjoyed their afternoon at scrum time, and then when you actually do get one back, you can see the effect that's had on the players. They've been working incredibly hard in that area. So yeah, a lot of delight on that moment. And they have really won that one, haven't they? I mean, that is quite phenomenal.
Not much argument, is there? Hayley Head there with the number 20 on the back. Joined in June, moved over from Australia, former Queensland Reds.
Making her impact from the bench.
Yeah, mainly for the celebrations so far, but yes. Natalia John, we mentioned, coming on back with Bristol after a spell with Saracens. Ponsonby. 2 tries so far. Head nearly broke away, but was a little more encouraged back into the fray, having not completely lost the bind. And now there's a penalty advantage on this maul. Trailfinders might have conceded the last try, but they're in strong position here. Meg Jones looking for the big one over the top. Oh, it's pinpoint from Jones. It's beautiful from White. Centre to wing. They may have been under penalty advantage, but that was absolutely spot on from Meg Jones to Grace White. Lovely score.
Meg Jones has really enjoyed that. She's having her own personal party out there, high-fiving the whole team. Again, when they gave the penalty away and then you have free ball. So Meg immediately can see that Grace White is out there, and Grace White has played very, very well today. She took that beautifully and fallen in. She's, as I say, she was GB Sevens last year, grew in stature there from being involved with that, and she's transferring out here, and she may look small in stature, but she is so powerful, so strong, and an incredibly skillful player. And the combination of Meg with Grace, what a try that was.
And a lovely conversion effort to add to the effort of the score from White. Lovely stuff, wasn't it?
Meg's still enjoying it, partying away, running back, doing what Meg Jones does best, enjoying every moment of that. It was pretty special, pretty pinpoint, very decisive, job done.
The Red Rose baller.
Highlight reel, Meg Jones highlight reel, another one for that.
Already quite the highlight reel, isn't it? That is a super kick from Julia Schell. Nobody backing in the middle. Clearance will be safe.
Yeah, Loverbond done what she had to do there. There was no other options for her, and she's kicked that well and relieved the pressure for her. That was a great decision from Julia Schell. Could see straight down the middle and put the pressure on. You can see that the momentum is really with Trailfinders at the moment, the confidence, and they're wanting now to open up and to try a few higher risk plays because they can. They've earned that right because the scoreboard sits in their favour.
3 tries in 2 games for Grace White. 2 so far this afternoon, 1 against Sale last week. Trailfinders might fancy the chance of seeing if they can get that flying winger in on a hat-trick. One over for Schell. It's going to bobble up for White here. They've asked her to have a go. Oh, and she will have a go and get on the outside. White looking for the hat-trick. One last player to beat. Tackle was good enough. It's coming back on the Bristol side, is it? No. Is it there for Bradley? Gallagher doing her best to slow it down. Burton thought the line was just going to open up for her. Gallagher trying to shut things down, but the try scored. Trailfinders soaring ahead now. Emma Taylor, the one to get the finishing touch on it, but this was White again, given room to roam.
Look at that handoff. She just pushes there, the strength, the power that she has. Then, after a run like that ball presentation, Abby Burton in there fast, keeping the momentum going, and then Emma Taylor up, carrying through with the help of Alana Ball and to help push her and latch her through. As I've said, Trailfinders now really, the momentum all with them. Bears still a mountain to climb and still must focus on that try bonus point because that will give them something on the league table. But Trailfinders now totally in control of this game, enjoying it. You can see they're having a lot of fun, and the metres there gained by Grace White is why that try was possible straight afterwards.
Sophie won from a very similar position a minute ago, and the end result is going to be the same again for Meg Jones. 10 points from the boot over the course of this one. 7 tries on the board for Trailfinders. 45-19 they lead now.
And Meg Jones definitely adding, converting as another area of her game. She's kicked very, very well today from all areas of the field.
Head just getting the offload away through the maul. Penalty Bristol. About 15 minutes remaining of this contest. Bristol are running in to take these penalties quickly, and that has been nudged superbly into the corner by Kira Bevan. Give their forwards every chance. Trailfinders compete. Oh, and the fact that they do compete is the reason the referee will have to look and see if the throw was straight, and in his mind it wasn't. Trailfinders will get the scrum, and that is a moment gone away for Bristol Bears.
Ouch. That is the moment you're there trying to get your try bonus point. Ouch. Drills that are done again and again on the training field, you have to be able to nail those moments under pressure again and again and again.
Tactically sound from Trailfinders, wasn't it?
Yep, getting up in the air so that therefore the throw has to be straight.
Put the pressure on. Niamh Gallagher has come onto the field for Grace White, incidentally. Malcolm. Definite strategic element to putting Rachel Malcolm in that 15-metre channel. Seen her out there quite a few times. Really hurried clearance. The pressure on there was really strong from a Bristol perspective.
Good to see Emma Taylor there. She's making a real impact from the bench. An incredible player to bring off the bench. And she's making real impact in that contact area around the breakdowns, working really, really hard. And then Niamh Gallagher coming on. She's another Brunel University product, so is Grace White, both from the link that Trailfinders have with Brunel University, both studying down there.
I think she falls over her own laces here, doesn't she? She's having a look up at the sky. Oh.
Niamh, seriously? She's been caught, busted.
What a treat.
She can see the funny side of it. Perhaps at university they need to teach them to lace their boots before they come onto the field.
It's known as a Maud Muir, I think.
Yeah, absolutely, the School of Maud Muir. Brilliant.
Just a reminder, our next match on BBC iPlayer will be Loughborough Lightning against Leicester Tigers in a couple of weeks. There's an off week for everybody next week. Chance to regroup and think about what's going on, what's been working and what hasn't. At the minute, it's going to be a longer couple of weeks for Bristol Bears unless they can put a little more on the board here this afternoon. Gallagher. Such a consistent performer. Bevan. Oh, did that go backwards off Trailfinders? It was a knock-on, despite the opportunity opening up so tantalisingly for Savannah Picton-Powell.
Lovely little option there. Kira Bevan's obviously identifying that there is that space between the advancing Trailfinders line and the backfield, and they're probing it, and it was millimetres from being perfect. But unfortunately, from Bristol's point of view, it's a knock-on and Trailfinders ball.
League season debut for Savannah Picton-Powell. Didn't get off the bench last week against Saracens. Player who earned the MVP nod for Wales at the Under-20 Six Nations Summer Series held in July in Caerphilly. Scored 4 tries. Club debut was off the bench in round 1 of the PWR Cup. Such is the benefit of that competition.
Binds! Sit!
Sarah Byrne now on the flank, still working hard. Not often you see a tight head prop on the field after 70 minutes, and that's gone forward.
Referee was perfectly in line with that one.
But interesting to see Sarah taking that role and getting on with it. Definitely the right option there, but unfortunately the wrong execution.
Life beckons as an open side for Sarah Byrne. It's come flying out a little quicker than it might have been expected, but now a chance to run. Picton Powell straightens. Bevan slips it inside. Looking to try and ensure they're getting their shape right here, Bristol. Ladyhead slowing it down. Kira Bevan sensed there might be something on if she pumped the dummy, but it didn't quite work. Or we'll give it the width. Then dink through Picton Powell. It just sits up at the back for Shell, who from inside the 22 keeps it businesslike. They look to try and take the quick one. Officials just getting themselves aligned. The ball had been touched on its way in to touch, so, or rather when it had got into the touch area, I should say.
Yeah, you're not allowed to, if you can take the quick throw in with the ball not being touched by anybody else that was just being kicked out, you're allowed to do so, but if anybody else has touched it outside, then you're not allowed to take a quick throw.
Amy Dale. Short one to the front. Try and catch them unawares. Tilly Ryle feeds it in. And once again, Bevan, line speed from Trailfinders is fierce.
It's phenomenal to keep going at this stage. In fact, I'd say they've almost picked it up, the bench that have come on. That line speed is now really making its mark, and Bristol are having to constantly chase back or go for those little kick over the top options, because Trailfinders are inviting that from them.
They did well to get the ball, I think, to Jasmine Joyce there, but then suddenly the option for Joyce wasn't much and merely had Julia Shell in front of her. The kick was good, but Shell recovered well.
And I think Trailfinders' defence have had the better of the edges all day, which is why we haven't been able to see the superb wingers for Bristol Bears be released. They've had that covered most of the afternoon.
It's trapped. Stay behind. It was trapped. Use it, please. Tight 10. Number 19 was inside the 10 metres. Offside.
Penalty Bears. Bevan's not hanging around and wants to stick that into the 22.
Keeping the energy high still, which is good to see. And as they're chasing that bonus point, it is a huge thing. The effort that they've put in today, I know I keep going on about this bonus point, but the effort that they've put in to the game today, they do deserve to take something from it.
Oh, it's the overthrow.
Drills.
Commentator's curse, Giselle Mather.
It's those drills under pressure, you know, line out and throw in again and again and again in training, and it just has to be replicated. The amount of times they've lost that opportunity because that hasn't worked.
Eventually downed, but made a few metres on that return.
Giving away. Number 6 all the way.
central area of the field that Bristol Bears just haven't quite had the cut through that they might have liked to. It's testament to that Trailfinders defence. Oh, and the referee's blown the final whistle. Well, he certainly jumped our clock in the corner of the screen. And that will be that here at Trailfinders. Well, they have done the job this afternoon. Giselle Mather, what's impressed you about both sides this afternoon?
I think from Trailfinders' point of view, they've really kept hold of the momentum. They have taken opportunities. Initial times, if they didn't quite get crossed, they came straight back with it and took their scores at critical times. I think Claire Gallagher's moment of brilliance was where the game changed. I think from the Bears' point of view, they took the game too slow to start with and they've been having to chase all the time. Forward scrum from the Bears, absolutely superb, but weren't able to put the use of that into points on the scoreboard.
And in terms of personnel, plenty of people standing up for Trailfinders today, but I'm making an assumption that's going to be the team that your player of the match comes from, but talk us through who's impressed you.
Well, I think Sarah Byrne has been absolutely exceptional today. She showed her world champion status in all areas, and to actually go the full game when she's been scrummaging and making the impacts is quite phenomenal for a prop. Meg Jones obviously as well, the world champions have stood up out here and done incredibly well, but I think it's a player that, as I've said, she's not an international in the 15s game, but she has played for GB7s. Grace White has been quite phenomenal. She's taken the opportunities, she's had little moments of absolute brilliance, taken the ball off kicks like that, which is not an easy skill, and out of all the wingers on the field, she's the one that's made the biggest impact and made key moments in the game. So our player of the match is Grace White.
Indeed. Well, let's just have a little look at some of the moments from Grace that are the reason she's got the nod.
So here she's collected a ball, she's the only player back, there's nobody else behind her at this moment, so she has to hold that ball. She's had little offloads that are there, big strong carries, the fend, pushing players out, beautiful carries, and then the ball press at the bottom. She doesn't get bundled into touch, and then this take on the full, eye on the ball, knows that there's players coming in, no look for her own safety or anything, just focused, and she's just made a real impact, and I think is a real star of the future.
Well, 7 tries scored by Trailfinders all in this encounter, and well, they were good for it right from the start. We've certainly been treated, and a 10-point gap between the two sides. And well, Giselle, you spoke about the power of that score before half-time. They got the 4 try, they got the bonus point, and it did seem that really mentally gave Bristol too much to do.
Yeah, it was a key switch, a key moment. As I say, Claire Gallagher releasing that ball to Alana Borland, who went over there. That moment, 7 minutes of momentum from Trailfinders, held up twice, got the ball back, kept going forward, and that's the moment for me that gave them the victory.
All right, well, if you are just joining us, then we can run you through the highlights of this one in the hands of Giselle.
So we start earlier with the forwards, the dominance of that pack working together, and then they go into a more great take from Abby Burton. She's been phenomenal, the work rate that Abby puts in throughout the game. Georgia Ponsonby doing the right thing, staying attached, everybody in that pack working incredibly hard. Then it was Bristol Bears' turn to get off that bus, and forwards then catch pick and goes, working together. I love the way that the Bristol Bears latch forwards together to give that power, and then a player who has made such an impact today, Sarah Byrne, taking that opportunity really well, powering through tackles. Meg Jones here adding her class to the situation. Julia Schell never letting the ball die, doesn't go into touch, pops it into Grace White, who takes that try. And then both sides now doing their final about their final huddles as they celebrate the fact that they've won this game. From Trailfinders' point of view, that jettisons up the table for them, and for Bristol now, as we spoke about earlier, not allowing themselves to be too reactive to this. There were things that they needed better, but for them to be more reactive to it. Back on Grace White there, taking the ball really, really well. The way Meg Jones, she knew that it was a penalty advantage. She knows she's got nothing to lose and just turns an absolute pinpoint accuracy, and she was absolutely delighted with that piece of skill. And this is Grace again. From this moment, she just picks up the ball, hands off and round to score the try. So I'm going to hand down now to Nick Heath, who is presenting the Player of the Match award to Grace White.
Right, we are here with Grace White, who I think should be pretty pleased with that performance. First of all, let me hand this over to you, because you are today's PWR Player of the Match. How was that for you out there?
Just super exciting. Bristol Bears is my old club, so always want to put in a good performance. And we really did that today. I think we've really started to establish our brand of rugby, and now we're just starting to impose that on other teams, which is great.
Yeah, we've talked a lot over the last couple of weeks about integration, getting people all on the same page after perhaps around one match where there were lots of new faces and lots of people to try and get onto the same page. It looks like over the last couple of weeks that's bedding in quite quickly now.
Yeah, I think so. A lot of it's been about like driving the pride and wearing the badge and sort of getting on the same page mentally, and then the play starting to follow.
Talking about wing play then, we had 4 wingers out there, yourself included, that are known for being pretty devastating, whether it's Renika Bonner or Millie David at Bristol or yourself and Francesca McGee. You definitely seem to be someone that was going looking for work today, which I think was part of one of the reasons that Giselle Mather wanted to call you as Player of the Match. Was that your outlook going into this one?
Yeah, we talk a lot about working off the ball and getting lots of touches. I was very lucky that I got swapped onto the left wing towards the end of the game, which put me in for the crossfield kick, which could have been anyone's try. So, yeah, just really fortunate.
Very nice. Will you be sharing this with anybody?
Yeah, we've actually got team social tonight, so I'm sure it will come out soon.
Excellent. It's not going to make it out of the changing room, is it?
I doubt it very much, yeah.
Excellent. We will really thank you for your time. Congratulations again today, and enjoy that.
Thank you very much.
Good. All right, let's ask Giselle to come back in and join us. And I've just seen the photos being taken behind. Well, you were the one that nominated Grace for this one, and it was a very decent performance. I just talked about how the work she was doing to go looking for the ball.
Absolutely. I mean, she really did make a huge impact in that game. But the thing that's special from a winger, you have to take your opportunities, you have to take your chances, and that's exactly what she's done.
Yeah.
You know, ball comes over you, she doesn't drop it. Ball comes up where she got absolutely walloped. When she took the ball coming through, she takes it, and she's taken her opportunities at every instance.
Yeah, well,
fantastic work.
It was indeed. Now we're just going to beckon in a man who I'm sure is fairly pleased with that one. Hey, Barney, how are you?
Congratulations.
Yeah, I'm great. Yeah, hell of a win.
Good. You know, Barney, I'm going to let you ask the questions here.
So in terms of that, the score before half-time, I think, was the moment that potentially gave the victory to Trailfinders.
Yeah, no, it was one of them where we were camped in their 22 for a fair bit of time, and we've got to come away. Me and Shings were there. We've got to come away with points here. We've got to come away with points. And then, yeah, a bit of a out the back door pass by Claire Gallagher, and Alana went under the stick. So yeah, very happy.
Yeah, you loved that bit of skill, didn't you?
Oh, it was really special for her to do it. She lovely hit and spin and there, but it was that momentum change that you had worked so hard, and Bristol had kept you out for about 7 minutes, but to cross the line just before half-time was key, I think.
And that the points then before and after half-time ultimately were sort of what gave Bristol an awful lot to do, which must have pleased you.
Yeah, it was one of them, like, we scored that try just before half-time. We were like, right, let's we need to keep the momentum as such. So when we came out second half, that was the key thing. It was like, let's play in the right areas. Like, Bristol have a really, really solid set piece, and obviously they put us under a fair bit of pressure in them areas today. So we were just like, let's play down their half and hopefully come away from points.
Yeah, I was here for the round 1 game. Lots of people looking like they were meeting for the first time. It's a fairly short turnaround for the team to now be playing as well and as well connected as they are. Giselle suggests at the start of the day maybe it's been a case of actually simplifying things and allowing people to do what they do. What do you put it down to?
Yeah, completely agree. I think we look like a barbarians team, I think, first game. We went back to the drawing board as such, and me and Shings had a good, hard kind of chat with ourselves and just went, right, let's just simplify everything. We've chucked too much at it. It was our fault, effectively. It wasn't their fault. We've chucked too much information in a short period of time. Simplified things, obviously went away up to Sale with a much simpler kind of game plan, the way we wanted to play, and again here. So, yeah, that was a big thing. And again, we had opportunities to kind of do things together as a team with just an extra kind of couple of days, etc.
Team social tonight?
Yes, they've got a team social.
Granny and Granddads are here.
Yeah, Granny and Granddads, and I think if you're up in the top part of the clubhouse, you'll see some odd outfits, let's just say.
Yeah, but Kate Zachary said she doesn't need to dress up at all. She feels that she just fits in beautifully just as it is.
You're not wrong.
Barney, thanks very much for joining us. Enjoy the win.
Congratulations, Barney.
Thank you for your time.
Well done.
Thank you.
Super. Giselle, been wonderful having you with us. Wonderful to have your insights and of course your coaching expertise on what has gone on. But we can actually hear from our losing coach this afternoon, Scott Lawson. Scott, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for fronting up. How was that one for you?
Disappointing. I thought the yellow card in the first half gave Trailfinders some points, and then we actually managed to contest the majority of that first half well, got ourselves into the contest at half time, and then unfortunately just the second half got away from us. A couple of key moments. I thought Trailfinders' contact area, especially in defence, like just limited our quick ball, didn't allow us to get into any kind of flow and rhythm, and then they were able to kind of capitalise and pressurise us and then capitalise on our errors.
Turning point seemed to be that score at half-time, having defended so well. It was something that Giselle talked about in terms of that points getting on the board at that moment, having thought you'd kept them out.
Yeah, like we put lots of good sets together defensively, 2 or 3 real good goal line sets, and then to concede points off the back of that's really frustrating. So it's a game of consistency, isn't it? I think new group, like we've got some really young players there, like probably not at full strength from a post-World Cup for us. So yeah, it's great experience for the girls. As long as we learn from that, like I'll be happy. Again, their effort, the hustle for the full 80 minutes was outstanding. Disappointed not to get that 4th try, because if we got a point out of it, it would have been not a good day, but it would have been better than leaving with nothing.
Yeah, certainly would. Well, listen, safe journey home. Thanks so much for coming and chatting to us, and we'll see you in a couple of weeks.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Thank you, Scott. All right, well, that just about wraps things up for us here then. Don't forget, we are back on iPlayer with more action from the PWR. Our round 5 match will be Loughborough Lightning against Leicester Tigers on Saturday, I can't even say it, I'm getting cold. Saturday the 29th of November, so do join us then. But for now, from Giselle and from me, it's a very good evening from all of us.
I'm in my